This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Magazine publisher and entrepreneur Judith Mancini is sharing captivating conversations with experts in their field about the latest trends in our ever-changing world to help you become healthy, wealthy, and wise. Judith Mancini today will spark your interest and inspire you to lead your best life ever. And now, here's Judith.
Well, good morning and good afternoon to everyone. Sorry for the delay today. We had some technical difficulties on my part. For some reason, I couldn't join you, but I'm here now thanks to my excellent friend and engineer, Juan Garcia. Thank you, Juan, for getting me here. Well, let's get going. I just want to do a little roundup of the news because there's some really tragic and some very important things that are going on today. First, I want to say I'm saying prayers for this horrible avalanche in Lake Tahoe. It struck so close to my heart because that's where I used to live with my children. And we were always aware of the problem of avalanches when we got snow like they have gotten up by Lake Tahoe now. We lived in Incline Village, which was not far from Truckee, and where this horrible tragedy occurred. As a matter of fact, my kids used to ski Sugar Bowl and all, and it's just absolutely tragic. So 8 skiers died. They're dead. 1 is missing. And they did have trained and certified guides with them. It was not their fault at all. This was an act of nature, if you will, and just came too fast and too hard. And we're saying prayers for their families. Such a tragedy. The other big news that is tragic for the king and the soon-to-be king in the next few years of England, of Great Britain. It's tragic. They just have a black sheep of the family, and he's being arrested today. That's the former Prince Andrew, because not only was he named in the Epstein papers, who I don't even want to discuss that. Some of it's made up. Some of it's true. They're disgusting. Not everybody who's named in them had anything to do with the sexual things, but what I'm talking about now, that former Prince Andrew was named in them in the sexual scandal, but he denied it. Unfortunately, he cannot deny the fact that he has now been arrested. He has not only lost all of his titles and homes and everything else that he had as a prince, but now he has brought such disgrace upon the royal family. I shudder to think what's going to happen. Well, the first thing that's going to happen is the police have gone to his house, and he's been arrested. He's going to prison. And King Charles has said the law must be followed. It's tragic for a family to have such a black sheep and criminal, especially when it's going to be played out in public. And he just brought horrible disgrace to the family and the crown. So I am sorry about that. Perhaps the other drastic thing that's happening right now is President Trump has sent more of our military over to the Iran area because they refuse to back down and not be good people. They apparently are already, Iran is already bombing different places, and President Trump has said we will take care of them. And he has sent more military aircraft and ships to the area. So don't worry about us here in the United States. Iran is threatening us, but we are well defended, and we have wonderful people in office and in the military that will protect you. So just keep your eye on it, see what's happening. The other thing is they had the first formal meeting of the Board of Peace that President Trump started. Now, this is for all you haters out there who hate President Trump and not only try to destroy his financial empire, his family, his presidency in the first year, trying to throw him in jail and prison. He's never been found guilty of anything. It's cost him millions of dollars to defend himself for things that were false. Excuse me. And what he has done is he founded this Board of Peace and invited all these leaders of the world to come. And boy, did they have a turnout. And he has talked to them, and they all see the need for it. I think President Trump is so involved with the Gaza Strip that he wanted to get this done. The people in Gaza are not responsible for what has gone on for so many years, and they're good people, and he wants to help them. Well, it's interesting to me that all of these nations from the Middle East and Europe and everywhere around the world are on President Trump's side and have joined the Board of Peace and have pledged billions of dollars. And not only billions of dollars, but they've pledged troops. This is amazing. They've pledged over $5 billion, and I'm sure it's much higher than that. I was listening to it earlier. Some of them have already said they're adding another billion to their pledge. And they're also pledging troops to help maintain the peace in the Gaza Strip. 8,000 troops are going to be deployed. And that's just the beginning. And this is to protect the Gaza citizens. So this is an unbelievable thing. This never even occurred after World War II. And everybody supposedly loved Roosevelt and all, even though they were trying to side with Stalin. Can you believe that? Well, anyway, I'm happy he formed this Board of Peace. They all said they're behind it. It was quite fascinating to hear what these different leaders were saying. And it was such a compliment to the United States and others that they were mostly trying to speak English. And I thought that was such a tribute to President Trump. So keep your eye on that, because that's a happy thing. That's a happy thing that's going to help those people in Gaza that have been so affected by the long ongoing wars. So besides that, I just want to say, all of you haters of President Trump, I want you to get out there and think about all the good things he has done in this first year of his term. Shame on you. Why would you let your hatred make you believe false statements about him? And think about what he's done. We're just now coming out of the worst time when we have all these illegal immigrants over here that were committing crimes, and he's tried to straighten that up. And all you do is hate ICE. And yes, ICE made some mistakes. People do make mistakes, especially when they're trying to clean up other people's messes in a hurry. And there's no doubt about it, Biden should have never been put in the office. It's his fault. So if you want to hate on the stupid Democrats that have voted not to cooperate with the Republicans, not to think about long-term effects on your life. don't forget we're in a government shutdown, and I just want to read you some of the things that are shut down until these Democrats get their act in gear. And don't blame it on the Republicans, because we are trying to help you. So, yeah, I'm taking sides. Sorry. If you don't like it, don't listen. That's all I can tell you. Make up your own mind. I'm not trying to coerce you. You make up your own mind about what should be done. The State of the Union address is coming up soon. You'll see, or just even Google it or DuckDuckGo it, whatever you want to use as a search engine. Just look up to see what President Trump has accomplished. They've even tried to kill him, for God's sakes. Let's get off of that. I want you to know what's closed because of the shutdown. The federal police officers of Hawaii. Now, do you know why they're there? They're the federal police officers. Hawaii is out there in the Pacific Ocean, and they are defenders of ours. They're a state. The Department of Health and Human Services, except for the FDA, the Administration for Children and Families, for Community Living, the Health Resources and Services Administration, Center for Health Statistics, Office of the Secretary of Media Center, Program Support Center for, I don't know, retirees or something. I'm not quite sure what that is. Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services. These are all things that are in the health area. Department of Homeland Security. Under that, the Customs and Border Protection is shut down. Oh, that's great. Here we get it closed. We have taken care of so much of it. And you in Congress, in the Senate, who are in favor of this shutdown, shame on you. Federal law enforcement training centers. Okay, what happens if we have a lot of injuries or they have to be deployed to a certain area? We need people to be still training. You guys are so dumb. The Department of the Treasury, the IRS, Internal Revenue Service, the Bureau of Fiscal Service, departmental offices, Office of the Chief Counsel, Tax and Trade Bureau. How that affects our filing our taxes or getting refunds or getting goofed up because somebody's not looking at it properly now. Bad stuff is going to happen. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, Federal Communications Commission, Federal Election Commission, Federal Housing Finance Agency, Federal Trade Commission. Oh my God, it just goes on. And what are we doing about it? Nothing. The Social Security Administration's Office of Hearings Operations. I guess if you have a problem with your Social Security and you try to get it straightened out, or for God forbid, please, what if your spouse passed away and you need to go file the papers for Social Security for that? It's all shut down. No excuses. You guys are bad. You're not helping us. Okay, so let's get on with some good stuff, okay? Today, I want to talk to you about how these different problems, diseases and injuries and illnesses and all are showing up and popping into your lives. I talk about longevity, and so many of you are going, yes, longevity. I want to live a long time. And I've already told you, part of it is up here in your mind. And part of it is down here in your health and how you treat yourself. So I want you to take care of your own health and your well-being. You know, I don't know how many of you know this, and probably quite a few because I like to brag about it sometimes. And I was very interested in it. And I want you to know I was the owner publisher of a publishing company, and my biggest magazine that I published, with the help of my staff, of course, had 1.7 million circulation. It was called Let's Live. It was a health and nutrition magazine, and it leaned more towards natural remedies, vitamins, good health through food and nutrition, all these wonderful things. It did not lean towards going to a primary care physician and having them tell you that now, because you hit the 50-year mark or the 60-year mark or something, you suddenly have to take statins, you have to take mental health pills because you're concerned about aging. It's all of these things. They want to run you through blood tests that probably don't mean much to you. I had one shortly after we moved from a regular area, from the Calabasas area. We moved to the Coachella Valley, where Palm Springs is located, where we live now, and we had to get new physicians. Well, it was imperative that I get new physicians for my husband because he has a circulation problem. And I'll be quite frank with you, the reason he has a circulation problem is because he doesn't move. He retired. He should never have retired because now he doesn't have any interest in life, except for me, which I'm very grateful for. But I want to see him up and moving like he used to. I want to go to dinner and go dancing with him like we used to. I want to see our friends like we used to. But he has a circulation problem, and I discovered it one morning when we got up, and I looked at him and was planning our day, and I said, "Oh my God, your feet are turning black." So I took him to the urgent care station, and their doctor had not come in yet, their physician. They just had nurses and guys helping, simple things like you have a sore throat, you have a cut finger, things that they could handle as nurses and technicians. They said, "You've got to go to a medical doctor. I want you to go to the closest one." The closest one, where we actually had insurance and I knew was the best, was UCLA Emergency. Well, even with that, they had some nurses look at him, set him in a wheelchair, and it dragged on all day long until finally, this was early in the morning. This was like at 9:00 in the morning. And of course, now my husband is getting nervous, to say the least. And he's a smoker. I know. I've tried for over 30 years. We've been married over 30 years. I've tried. I'm not trying anymore. If he stops now, he'll have a heart attack. He's never had a heart attack. He's perfectly healthy. He did have a bypass because the doctor thought he saw a clot. And maybe he did. And I'm glad he had the bypass because they put one in from a sheep, part of the bypass area, and he has been extremely healthy and moving around until those last couple of years when he retired. So he has annual physicals. He actually has them biannually because I want him to go through some tests. I want him to be looked at and listened to. They check his blood to make sure it's flowing, and it is, and he's on a blood thinner. Now, he's on a very strong blood thinner, and his ankles and legs still swell. It's because he doesn't move. But this blood thinner does pump the blood back to his heart, so I'm grateful for that scientific medicine that they have developed for things like that. My husband is 82, I think. I'm 78. He's 2 years older than me. I'm sorry, he's 80. So he is in really good shape, other than the fact he doesn't like exercise and he likes to smoke. But he doesn't get sick. He doesn't have infections, colds, anything else. So his cardiologist that I take him to is amazed at him, and so am I. Why I'm telling you this is we've been married over 30 years and we've never been unfaithful to each other. And I don't deny that either one of us had sex before we married each other, because we were married to others before and saw people and everything else. I'm not going to discuss my sex life with you. No. But here's the thing. This new primary care physician, we walked in and his office was jam-packed full. You couldn't even sit down. They didn't have enough chairs. And they were turning the people in and out every 5 minutes. Now, some of them got 10 minutes. What my question was, why were we waiting in there and what were we supposed to be doing? Because we brought medical files with us, our latest blood test, his latest heart scan, all that stuff, everything, showed it to him, and he insisted on blood tests. Okay, big deal. They stick the needle in your, well, it was a big deal because we had given him our insurance. And you know what he did? He checked almost every single box on that test for the lab reports. He even checked down HIV and other sexually transmitted diseases. I said, why are you checking these off? Well, because we have to. Of course they have to. They have to make the lab money. They have to make themselves money. So instead of 5 minutes, I always go into the doctor's office with my husband because he hates doctors. Sorry, but he does. So he always wants me in there, mostly to talk for him and to interpret what the doctor is saying. Well, this was already done. Okay, now I'm already angry with this doctor. So he gets a hold of my husband and he runs him through all of these tests. For what? I'm not even sure. Do you have an appendix still? Do you have your tonsils still? We had full medical records from our adult life, okay, from different doctors, just because we've been trained to do that. Of course, there was nothing wrong with us. One doctor put me on thyroid medication 25 years ago, and he was concerned because I said I was tired. Well, of course I was tired. We move around all the time. We go to different companies to turn them around. We have our charity things. I happened to go in the office when I was tired. So he puts me on thyroid. He puts me on such a high dose, and my husband is out of town on a business trip, that when I got up the next morning, I almost passed out. Okay, so he adjusted. He never took my blood. And he was an Federal Aviation Association doctor. He did physicals for pilots, mostly dentists who own their own airplane, people that he knew in the industry. Okay, sorry. Next thing I know, he lowers it so much, I couldn't stand up. I don't know what he was doing because I never had a thyroid problem. Now I'm questioning it because I'm convinced that most medical doctors have a lot of bills to pay. And I'm not saying all of them, I'm saying some of them. We do need doctors and surgeons and specialists in certain areas. Of course, I'm not saying the entire industry is disrupted, but I think you need to take care of yourself. There's a lot of people on Facebook now that have sick children, unfortunately, with cancer. There's a lot of people, adults, men and women who have cancer. Where is this coming from? We're not sure. And I want somebody to explain to me. I've been researching it and I can't find it. Why is a child born with cancer? I can understand that maybe cancer is passed on in the genes. A lot of people think, particularly breast cancer, which is huge in women, they say their mother had it, their sister had it, and so they've gotten rid of their breasts. So there you go. I don't know what the answer is to all of this. Something just came across my screen that said something is shut down again. I don't know what that means, or why it came across there. I'm getting all sorts of weird messages today. So what I want you to do, I want to talk about living longer and still feeling like yourself. And I'm almost out of time, but that's because I really, really, really wanted you to hear about what's going on today. I think you need to keep the news on. And I don't often say that. And I didn't even talk about Nancy Guthrie. I'm glad you can all hear and see me. Thank goodness it wasn't something going on in my show that was going across my screen. Thanks, Juan. But longevity is not just luck. It's a collection of small daily habits repeated over years that quietly build a long, healthy, joyful life. And the good news is most of these habits are simple and fully within your control, and you can start today. Long-living people eat simply. And boy, since we moved to the Coachella Valley, I don't know why, we've always eaten very healthy, but we've had more protein in our lives, like steaks and fish and things like that. And I don't think I'm going to eliminate any of those. We don't eat that kind of meat or fish every single day. We eat a lot of vegetables because we like them, and because Lou has always followed the Mediterranean diet. He's Italian. He came here when he was 13. I tell you that all the time, sorry. So we eat more like Italians in Italy than we do Americans or Italians in America that now are going to In-N-Out Burger, and boy, do I love them and their milkshakes. It's okay to do things like that once in a while, but you want to eat the good stuff. You don't want to be stuffed either. You don't want to keep putting the food in your mouth until you're ready to burst. Eat what you need. We have cut our meals down to 2 times a day with a snack in the middle. We don't eat unless we're going out with friends or something and we want to make an evening of it and frolic. We eat breakfast in the morning. Eggs are one of our highest proteins we eat, and we've added a new thing to it, cottage cheese. I know it sounds crazy, and I thought it would be crazy. My grandma, whom I often talk about, Grandma Louise, I'm named after her. My name is Judith Louise. My grandma believed in eating cottage cheese all the time. She believed in putting cod liver oil drops in my fresh squeezed orange juice. She only believed in eating whole wheat bread. So we want you to savor every bite, but eat the healthy stuff. And I'm not going to tell you to put the cod liver oil in your orange juice, which should be fresh squeezed because it's got lots of sugar and things in it, but it's good for you. Don't let them fool you and tell you not to drink orange juice. What they want you to do is buy the soda pop and other things. Now we have lots of flavored waters and all. You better be reading those labels. So enjoy your food. Don't stuff it down. You build a nice menu for you and your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your kids, and you as a single person. You all can do it, and you can all enjoy it. You need to move around. Now, I'm not telling you at the age of 50 you need to start going to a gym. If you never went to a gym in your life or had one in your home, you don't need to start now. They've got silver sneakers for a lot of the Medicare plans, and that's a group that lets you go to various gyms and join for free so that you can work out. It's a wonderful thing if you like to do that kind of thing. take them up on it. Go do it. They'll teach you how to walk on a treadmill. Personally, I like to go outside and walk, but that doesn't mean I didn't at one time have a home gym, and I thoroughly enjoyed that too. So you might want a combination of them. Try out that silver sneaker thing if you're on Medicare, or join a gym of your choice, maybe with a couple girlfriends, a couple guy friends, or whatever. You don't need to be like RFK Jr. and challenge Kid Rock to doing sit-ups and push-ups. You can do it moderately and start feeling better. But the key is get up, face the sun, get a little sunshine on your face, and go for a walk. And don't just walk around the block. Try to build up. Walking around the block, then 2 times around the block, then maybe with a friend, maybe not with a friend. Maybe it's your time to thank God for all your blessings. Maybe it's a time to contemplate your new business or what you want to do with the rest of your life. Maybe you want to write a book, paint a picture, stitch some beautiful embroidery for your granddaughter because she's lost the skills because nobody does it anymore. Walk. Look at people's gardens. I remember taking my kids on walks when they were younger, and I taught them the names of all the flowers we would pass. And then one day they were old enough to take a walk by themselves, and it was close to my birthday, and they came home. I knew they would because I was kind of watching them. Of course, we lived in a very safe neighborhood, but that was then. This is now. I don't know what's safe anymore. They came home with a little black kitten for me for my birthday. And they were so proud of themselves because they didn't have to pay for it or anything else. And they went on that adventure, and we talk to it to this day. So just move naturally and get your circulation going like my husband doesn't do. I have him with a walker, so I'm trying. But just do that. It helps your brain, it helps your move, and it helps your heart, as well as just your general well-being. And maybe you won't yell at your spouse. Motion is life and stillness is decline. You know, if you don't move, you start not moving at all. And plus, if you're moving, you're stimulating your brain, and you can be curious and pick up a book and read a book. I know I talk a lot about natural health, but I just picked up a book because I just discovered him, Dr. Kevin Reese. Now, some people think he's kind of quacky. He's not quacky. He's not a medical doctor, and he tells you that right up front. He tells you his thoughts about the medical industry. No, he's not paying me. He doesn't even know who I am, okay? He's got thousands of people who follow him, and I just became a follower of his. So you might want to look him up. But curiosity killed the cat, they say. But you know, that's not true. Curiosity keeps you alive, and you're a good dinner partner. You're a good lunch partner. You're a good gym partner. You're a good partner to your kids, your husband, and what you can discuss. I discuss politics with my husband a lot, but he agrees with me. I'd like somebody to disagree with me so that I could have a more interesting conversation. You can talk about anything. You know, there's lots of places to explore too. So many people live in one area all their lives, and they don't even know what's outside of them. I was astounded when we lived in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was where the company was that my husband was CEO and president, and that's where I went for business meetings when I had my publishing company. So I also lived in Pittsburgh for a short bit, and so did Lou, obviously, because that's where he was working. What astounded me was when we would go to a restaurant outside of downtown Pittsburgh, and somebody would say they'd never been to some of these other neighborhoods. They'd stayed in the same neighborhood from the day they were born until the time they were 80, 90 years old. There's a whole world out there, everybody. Get on that walk. Have your neighbors or somebody drive you to a park that's somewhere close by and take your walk. So that's about it for today. I'm going to finish this next week with you and tell you how you can better stretch your life with longevity and good health. So, in closing, I want to tell you life is a gift, and it's a gift not just from God or whomever you believe in, it's a gift you give yourself. And longevity is only good if you are good and you have a good diet, good mental thoughts, good mobility, people in your life, your family. Think of all those things. There isn't just one thing that gives you the gift of longevity. So I'm going to wind up a couple minutes early today. I just want to remind you, you can find me at lifewave.com/Judith Mancini. It's scrolling across the bottom on the crayon. And I can help you with these wonderful patches that don't put medication in your body. It does phototherapy. My husband wears one on his right shoulder that hurt him for years. He has no pain in it anymore. You wear them for 12 hours. You go without them for 12 hours, stick them back on. He is so happy that he can do that. It's amazing. Okay, I want you to be amazed too. So if you want any questions about lifewave.com/Judith Mancini, just email me. You can get me on that and ask me questions. Or you can go to Judith Mancini, excuse me. You can go to judithmancini.com or on judithmancinitoday.com. You can find me on lots of places. You can find me on Facebook too. All right. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you, Juan, so much for straightening me out this morning when I couldn't get anything on my computer. I always appreciate you. I'm so excited about some of the new things we're adding to the radio station. That Dean Piper is always improving his companies. I'm so glad. It's just so exciting. So don't leave. Tune in next week, same time, same place. And remember, cherish yesterday, dream tomorrow, and live today. Thank you.